Hi, welcome to NDE TV. I'm Peggy Robinson. Today's guest is Randall Smith, and he's going to tell us about his near-death experience. Hi, Randall.
Hello, Peggy. How are you today?
Good. How are you
Good,
doing?
good, good. It's beautiful day. It's
Yeah,
beautiful outside. It's
it is.
beautiful. Yes, yes.
Finally.
Yeah, hopefully it stays this way for a while.
Yes.
Yes.
So start wherever you like and take as
Okay,
long as you like. Okay.
okay. I was 6 years old and I went with my dad over to help him. Well, I was only six, so I couldn't do much help. But I went with my dad. He was going to work on a car at a friend of his. So we went over to the garage, and there was not too many people around, just the owners of the car and a couple other guys and my dad. And they were in the garage working on the car. Well, I was inside the garage myself too, and I was playing around. I was only six, so I was playing around, just doing all kind of crazy stuff with the inside the garage. And they had the walk-in door was open, but the overhead door was closed, and the car was running. So they were working on it, so they were able to walk in and out of the door right there and get some fresh air. Well, I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know any better. So I'm in the back of the car, kind of playing around outside, inside the garage, but playing around outside the back of the car. I remember getting dizzy, and I passed out. And when I did, I busted my head on the bumper of the car. And as soon as I hit my head on the car, I was out of my body. I went directly to the light. I had a very brief life review, and I went into the light. And when I came out of the light, there were two beings that greeted me. They were shimmering, and in the process of this, we walked to different places within the structure of the light of the heavens is where I was at. And we walked down different corridors and rooms and places like that. Being as young as I was, everything was just massively big, large and huge. So we walk in this place, and they called it the records, the Hall of Records. And I remember seeing little slivers of look like shimmering books on a shelf, and it was lined as far as the eye could see. And we walked down these crystal cities and streets and ended up in a few different places. And in the entire time we were walking there, it felt like we were gliding. I didn't see any legs. It just felt like we were gliding on this pathway. We ended up in this room, and the room was for me it was extremely large. So we walk into this room, and in the middle of the room, it looked like an octagon stop sign laying down. It wasn't red or nothing like that. It's just the description that I could come up with. But it was a huge well that was shaped like an octagon. And they were on either side of me, and they kind of urged me to, go up to the side of it. And as I did, I seen it looked like confetti sparkling all over the place, coming up and out of this churning. And I felt the urge to put my hands in it. So I did. I put my hands in it, and I got a light tingling sensation on my fingers and my hands as I'm kind of doing this with I'm going to call it confetti because that's all I can think of is the confetti that was in this well. And I felt this surge of energy go through me. And then I kind of just let it go and kind of leaned back and stepped back just a little bit. And when I did that, I stepped back. They told me via my mind that I can go anywhere I want to. And when they said that, I had directions pop up in front, behind, and on both sides of me. So and I looked to my right and I looked to my left, and I looked back again. And when I looked to my left again, I woke up on a couch in this house where my dad was working on this car. And the lady that lived there, she was either on oxygen or a nurse or something because they had oxygen available and they were taking that off of me after they revived me. So then we went to the hospital. They let me go, and then we went home. And then my mom and dad took me back to the doctor because I was showing some symptoms and signs of different things. So they took me to the doctor. He did all kinds of tests. And said, "Well, he's okay. He's good to go." But ever since then, I see things, I hear things, I sense things, I kind of know things. So it wasn't a pleasant experience. But I wasn't scared at all with being in the light. And then when I mean it wasn't a pleasant experience, I mean hitting my head on the bumper and things like that. But the near-death experience was absolutely just overwhelming. When I went into the light, the love that they sent and gave to me to welcome me there was overwhelming. It's just unbelievable how that felt. So, and I keep that with me today, and I can still sense and feel that experience like it happened this morning. So that's how clean and clear it is to me yet. But ever since then, it's been a crazy, strange life ever since then. So, well, that's my experience.
How's it been a crazy life? Because you feel and sense things now?
Yes, still do. Even more now than before. Now I'm not afraid of it at all. Back then I was. I grew up in a Southern Baptist family. My mom's dad was a preacher. So every time we turned around, we were going to go to hell for something or another, And when I would tell my folks that I see things and I hear things, of course, out of their mouth, so stop lying, Randall, stop lying. You don't see this, please don't. Well, my mom was scared of everything. So every time we turned around again, we're going to go to hell for something or another. So it got to the point for me to where I just didn't say anything anymore. I just repressed it and held it in and this and that. Well, when you get to be in your teens, and I still see things, I hear things, I sense things, and I know things. I smell things, and I mean everybody else does too. But paranormal is really exciting to me, and I've always been involved in that. But I've seen spirits since my experience. I've seen people. I know now that they're spirit, but I've seen this since my experience. One of the things that I do because of my near-death experience is I help people cross over. If there's a haunting or something like that that goes on, I usually get the call and they'll have me go in and see what's going on, and I can help people cross over. It's called cycle pump. I learned how to do that about 20 years after my experience. I kept seeing spirit and ghosts. I mean, I still see today, and I'm glad that I do, but I didn't know what to do. I really just had no clue as to what to do as far as helping them, because they always come to me and help. They ask for help. Can you help me? Can you help me? What do you see? And things of that sort. So being a kid, I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. I didn't. I mean, I didn't know how to summon a spirit from the light to help people cross over and things like that. So I took classes in shamanism. I dove headfirst into that. I'm a Reiki master, a shamanic practitioner, and things of that sort. Now, there are people out there who would say that shamanism is the work of the devil. I don't believe that in the slightest bit, because the gifts that I was given when I crossed over and came back, that's not of the devil, and you can't convince me otherwise. When you help somebody find their path back to the light, how is that the work of the devil? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I just stopped listening to people and listening to the criticism and this and that. But I still get it here and there because I'm very active in this field, helping people cross over. But I also do other things too, along with this. I'm a hands-on healer. When I put my hands in that well, I honestly believe at that point I was given the ability to be able to heal. And I mean heal by, I can help you facilitate the healing energy that's in the body already. The energy that created the body heals the body. So if you bring it back in attunement and alignment, the body will naturally heal. So by bringing that vibration back to a person, you can actually help them to heal what's going on with them. You can heal somebody with just one word or a touch or things of that sort. So I dove into shamanism in my 20s and became a Reiki master in my 30s. And here I am today, still doing the same thing, but it's a lot more rewarding today, because I don't let fear and things like that control what I do and help people cross over. So
I have a
that's why.
question for you. It made me think,
Okay.
my first NDE at 5 years old, my drowning, I was just, I say like a ghost girl, it was all out of body. Of course, my second one was the tunnel in heaven. Why do you suppose some don't cross over? Because, I wasn't crossing over.
Well, at that particular time, being young like that, if it's not meant to be, it won't be. If you didn't actually die, you're not going to cross over and come back. You probably had an out of body experience close to a near death experience in itself. When your heart stops beating and you stop breathing, now you're dead. And then people revive you and you come back. But I have run across a lot of people who have passed, but did not have a life review. I think their guides were stopping them from going into that transition period and keeping them back grounded in the earth vibration. So I think that's what's going on there. I know that I have a lot of things that I still have to do, is why I'm still here. I've had, oh, probably 15 or better experiences to where I should have died, but I'm still here. Obviously, we're talking. But I know that we all have a mission. We have integrity, purpose, and dignity, as Daniel Brinkley would say. So just we have things that we got to do yet. So that's why a lot of us are still here and coming back.
Early on in that drowning, when I was hovering, just started to hover, a female voice said, if they find, it says, don't go yet. I mean, like, go off
Right.
plan. It says, don't go yet. If they find you soon, you might go back. And I remember thinking, go back. That's not how death works. We don't go back. Because, 5 years old, went to pre-Sunday school. We had a
Right.
vision of what heaven and 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 life and death is, and go back. What?
That's
So
kind of weird, isn't it?
so I guess I assumed along that they knew that I might go back. If they
Yeah.
find me soon, they might go
Yes.
back. So I
Yes.
guess they didn't want me to go on if I wasn't gonna, if I was gonna go
Right.
back. They didn't want me to
Well,
go
I
back.
know that our guides, our soul and our guides pick each lifetime before we come here, and we know what we signed up to do. So if it's not your time yet to go, they're going to do what they can to make sure that you don't step into the light fully right now. Because if there is a mission for you to accomplish, they want you to do that. We are heroes for being here in the first place, because there are archangels and spirits and things of that sort who have never treaded on this planet and who won't tread here, because it's a hostile planet. It's a very emotional planet. We have a lot of lessons to learn in our emotional stat. So if they don't want you to cross over yet, they'll do what they can to keep you here.
That's what I told God on my second NDE at 25. I was like, I can't stay here. I got kids to raise. You know what it's like. You
Right.
know what it's like down there. It's horrible. They're mean. I can't trust my kids. Like, feed them to the wolves without a mother's love and protection. I can't be here. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Exactly. I understand that completely. Yeah, I didn't have that experience. My guide showed up right away. And they took me to those places. And the well to me was the catalyst that put me to where I'm at today.
We was talking
But
about
I
that
know that
well. In your
what's that?
experience, when you were talking about the well, it made me think, is there any evidence that you know of that reflection from water or a mirror, glass, that somehow brings our connection to the other side closer?
Yes, there is a technique called scrying, which you gaze into your
How do you
mirror,
spell that?
Scrying, scrying.
Okay.
And it's gazing into a mirror or shiny surface with just very little light. Yeah, and you just have enough of a reflection to see yourself in that reflection, in that mirror. So, and you do that with a dimly lit light, and you meditate on it, and you will get past life experiences, visions, and things of that sort. So, yeah, you can, and they do a thing called tea reading too, where they um, look at a glass of water with tea in it, and it would tell you things. But yeah, scrying is absolutely, yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
It's the tea. Is you looking in tea or you looking in what? What is
Well,
it?
you can do the same thing. Scrying consist of either a mirror or a shiny surface that you can look into as at
Uh,
your reflection. So you can do the same thing in a glass of coffee or tea or something like that. Just
okay.
kind of gaze and stare into it and let your mind wander.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why that is. I wonder what it is about that reflective, whether it's water or glass, that
I think if you let your mind go, because we are naturally tuned to the frequency of water and things of that sort. So if you let your mind go in a meditative state, you should be able to, kind of not necessarily do trance work, but go into a light trance and, discover different things about yourself and also the universe and things like that.
why do you suppose we're so separated from the other side, from this knowledge, from what is it so hard to, one reason I guess is because it's been so taboo, it's gonna be witchcraft or it's against religions or, people have kept you silent, even like, your family telling you not to talk about it is one thing. But then the others, like some people are naturally prone to pick up on these things, and others are like, what are you talking about?
Well, if you really truly knew who you were as a spirit, fear would be impossible, and there's nothing we can't do. Honestly, if you truly knew who you were, fear would be impossible. The governments to be and the powers to be, they don't want you to know your true divinity. Because if you did know your true divinity, we wouldn't be putting up with any of the bull crap that's going on right now. And I mean, none of it. We are awesomely powerful spiritual beings having a physical experience, and that we're not very good at. That's a Daniel Brinker quote. But yeah, we are awesomely powerful spiritual beings, and we are having a physical experience. And they don't want you to know the true nature of who you are, because then the lessons that we learned here in the physical wouldn't fit so well if we truly knew who we were. We're on this planet to learn emotions. Everything we do on this planet is emotionally based. Every single thing we do is based on our emotions. So, with that in mind, if you knew that you were a very powerful spiritual being, then you would not pay any attention to your emotions. You would just go about things blindly and do this and do that and have power over everybody. Well, that's not what it's about.
I have never known a time like this where it feels we're trying to be controlled and mind altered.
Yes, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
And things are getting ready to change on a major, major scale. Major scale. Yeah. We're
How
going to go
so?
back. We're going to go back to where we have 1,000 years of peace, and it's talked about in the Bible. You know, you've got all this tumultuous times going on, and then with the changing of times, we'll go back to 1,000 years of peace. Well, you know, we went into um, the age of Aquarius now, so that's been happening since 2012. So it's beginning to amp up a lot. We're gonna discover our true divinity while in physical, and there will be those who will not accept this at all, and they will just kind of fall off to the wayside. But we are going to help in the transition of the planet and the new consciousness of beings that are getting ready to open up, let's say, because we're already here. It's just a matter of opening up now to the trueness of divinity that we are.
Do you sense or notice a fear of religion nowadays?
Yes. Yeah. It's not necessarily the religion, it's the religious figures that are in place. You know, when you can't trust somebody who's preaching the gospel according to them, then church kind of falls off to the wayside. You know, I'm not going to name any preachers or nothing like that, but you can just look at the news lines and things and see who's good and who's bad. And they're all every one of them almost seems like they've got their hand involved in evil. So in regards to that, a lot of people are falling away from trust of the church. And it's not necessarily it's the church, it's the people in charge of the church.
I had a guest on the other day that I apparently has some problems with the church and is trying to say that Hitler was a good thing. And it seems like we're in this wrong is right and right is wrong now, and no judgment, that we all go to heaven. There's no sin. There's no, and I think there should be no crime. There should be no police. There should be no prison. There shouldn't be no laws. They're wanting this free society where everybody can do what they want. Even murder's not wrong. They're trying to push all these things like, and they expect people to just change overnight and say, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go with that. Forget your any religion anybody's had or any faith anybody had or any spirituality where we talk about unconditional love and acceptance of others. And, what do you think?
I think that's a crock. But anyways, well, they've been wanting to eliminate church from a lot of us anyways. I don't go to church. I do occasionally, but I don't typically go to church. This is the church. I meditate and I pray to God all the time. And,
Mm.
I don't need a building to know my divinity with source.
I
So
say
in,
that
re
too. I am church.
Yeah. So in regards to that, I mean, they can do what they want to do over there, but they're trying to separate you from your divinity. And again, if we truly knew who you were, fear would be impossible. We would go down to the political establishment and take care of all of them. And I mean, literally get them out of office and take care of all of that. If you truly knew who you were as far as a divine being, you would do that. But because they've instilled so much fear in us and they control us so much, we don't even know who we are yet. There's a lot of people don't even know their own gender. Come on. I mean, that
And
doesn't make any sense to
this
me.
is our paychecks they're spending,
Yes, yes,
our
yes,
hard-earned paychecks, our
yes,
retirement
yes, yes.
that we
They
worked
want
for is what they're
they
spending.
yes, they want to get you to a point where you're very submissive and you'll just listen and do whatever they say. You've given up your sovereignty. We are sovereign beings to begin with, and again, when you die, everybody goes to the light. Everybody goes to the light. I don't care who you are, but there's different levels to the light. Hitler's not going to go up here and spend time with God. Okay. Hitler will be in the light, but he's going to go to the lower realms of the light to where his soul can be fixed and cleansed and things of that sort. So there is that process that goes on. But again, everybody does go to the light. Everybody came from the light. Everybody will go to the light eventually. I've helped cross people over that have been here 200 and 300 years. So everybody does go to the light. They don't want you to know your true divinity. That's how they keep control of you.
I wouldn't think God would want mean, nasty people in heaven.
No, no,
Who
absolutely
would
not.
want to be in a heaven like that, whereas mean, nasty people are still trying to hurt people?
Right,
They're going
right.
to have to go through something to where
Yes,
they're washed clean.
absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
If that's a
Absolutely.
hell experience, so be it. Whatever it's going to take to get them to come to their knees, come to Jesus moment, because, I think of my mother. She died a year ago next week. And I've prayed, God, if she's there, I don't want to go. I don't want near that evil tongue, that mean mouth, that's just
Well,
horrible. Yeah.
she'll be
Everybody says, oh, now she's in heaven. She's wonderful. Oh, you have to prove it by me.
she will be a different being when you see her. I promise you that. I can guarantee that she will not be the same being as she left here. She will be completely different. She will be the loving mother you've always wanted. It's
But she'll have to go through some kind of transformation,
yes,
to go from who she
absolutely,
was, because she would say in
absolutely.
life, I am not going to heaven. I'm not going to go to hell. I'm going to stick around and I'm going to haunt my kids and make them miserable. So,
Yeah, no, she'll be a changed being when it's your time to go. You'll see that right off the bat.
have those spirits that you have, can you talk about that don't want to go on? What's going on
Okay.
there?
Well, Peggy, there's a lot of situations that occur. Okay, we talked about religion here a minute ago. Religion seems to be the main catalyst that keeps a lot of people from going to the light. Okay, for starters, if you've done anything because of the way that church has brought a lot of people up, for me, for instance, I was scared of everything. I was going to go to hell if I even cursed. So if that's instilled in you like concrete, you'll have a tough time being able to move forward when the light does appear.
Like they don't
Because
forgive themselves?
yes, absolutely. And you know as well as I do, when you go into the light and it's judgment time, you judge yourself. God's not over you judging you. Jesus isn't over you judging you. It's you judging yourself, and your guides are with you going, okay, did you learn that? Okay, cool. We'll move on from here. But it's you judge your own self. God is not going to judge you. Take that off the table. God is not going to judge you. We're
I've
our
heard a
world.
I've heard a few NDErs say when they first got to light, like, you got the wrong person. Like, you don't know what I've done.
Yeah, I
They think
believe
they
that.
are not worthy to be there. Like,
Yep.
I have cursed you. I have rejected you. I have, made fun of you, whatever. Like,
Yeah. Like I said,
why are you
everybody
going to
goes
love
to the
me?
light. Yeah. Everybody goes to the light. You're not going to go up here. You're going to go here in the light, but the light is still there. The light is the light. When you need to be, I don't want to say reprogrammed because I don't want to say that, but You will get a cleansing, as you said. You will get a cleansing and you will go through all of your things that you said and done to everybody else. And I tell people all the time, you will become everybody you've ever encountered in your lifetime. You will see what your actions did to them. And then you will see what their actions did to those people because of your actions. So you will become everybody you've ever encountered your entire life, including the dentist, the doctor, the chef. I mean, the person on the sidewalk you flipped off or whatever. You will see how you affected them via them. So in regards to that, I treat everybody as good as I possibly can. I love everybody. You know, there's just a few people I don't necessarily like, but that's it has nothing to do with like or dislike. I just don't approve of the behavior. Okay, neither here nor there. But yeah, when you become everybody you've ever encountered, your life will change. And that's one of the big takeaways from the life review is you will become everybody you've ever encountered. And that's what changes lives. And because of that, I have a hard time just stepping on an ant. I mean, sometimes you can't help that, but I don't want to hurt anything. I've shot animals before. I do hunt, but I don't like to do that. Especially when they're available like they are at the grocery store, but you can't trust what you're eating there either. But yeah, I don't like to hurt anything or anybody or anything of the sort. And we all do go to the light, but not the upper echelons of the light.
I didn't understand at first when I heard about life review. I was like, I don't even get that. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I got thinking, well, wait a minute, was mine a life review? It's my second NDE. I went through but it was me showing God's my life. I was like this tattletale. Like, my brother did this to me, my sister did this, my mom did this, my dad did this, my stepdad, showing all the reasons I couldn't leave my kids on earth because it's not safe for kids down there.
Yeah, it's not.
And so it was like this tattletale thing, me tattling God on everybody, showing him why God, why earth is so bad. And so I hear other people's life review, and it's like, that's not my experience. That's not what I was,
Right,
or my mindset was. So I don't
right.
know.
Well, I know that everybody's life review is different, but we all have one. It might be brief. Now, when I was six, mine was, I mean, it was, I barely remember any of that. What I remember the most about my experience is going to the well and putting my hands in there and then getting that light tingling shock sensation. And that's what I remember. And I'll never forget that. I mean, like I said, it's like it happened this morning. I can still, I still feel them next to me on both sides. And I feel that tingling in my hands. And I do healing sessions with people all the time. And I get told more than not that, it's not you doing the work, it's God. Well, no shit, really. I know that. I'm just a hollow bone. The energy goes through me. I know that I'm not God, although, albeit we came here to be like God, albeit we're not, but we came here to be like God. We have the ability to create, we have the ability to destroy. Which do you want to do? I would rather create and make people happy. That's my goal, is to help you see a bigger, brighter future, to give you encouragement, to lift you up, to help you, to encourage you. The last thing I want to do is tear anybody down. I've been beat up enough myself, and I don't want to see anybody go through what I've had to go through. But I wouldn't change one single thing about my experience because I wouldn't be who I am today if I did change any of it. So I'm happy with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I love everybody. And again, there's just very few people I dislike, but it's not because of the dislike, it's the actions that they're doing. I love everybody.
When you first mentioned the well, it made me think of the movie Cold Mountain. There's a scene in that where they take the girl to a well, and they bend her over the well. This husband and wife do bend her over the well, and said, because the wife, he says, well, the husband, she does it sometimes, and to like see the future. And she looked down at the well. She could see the reflection of the sky and the water and the well. And she had a vision of her boyfriend that was in the war walking back to her. And then later on, towards the end of the movie, that happens. He actually is, walking back to her as she saw it. So that made me think of that well that had you look into.
Okay. Well, I know that gazing in the water or a reflective surface, it brings your mind into balance to be able to open up the realms, to be able to see, not completely open them up, but to open them up to where you can get glimpses of things here and there. I've done scrying. I've actually done a lot of scrying, and I have seen visions, and that is part of some of the work that I do with people. Is teaching them how to go within and and to gaze, mirror gaze, or scrying or something like that, to help them come to terms with who they are as spiritual beings. A lot of us just will not accept the fact that we are very spiritual. We're not physical, we're spiritual. And this is all basically a hologram that we're going through right now, because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. But the bottom line is we're spiritual beings. And the
Reason
physical experience is one little part of our spiritual growth. There are many dimensions out there that we go to besides just the physical to get growth for our soul.
reason why I think about it and asked about it is because I had noticed before that some of my experiences, most spiritual, profound spiritual experiences I've had, two was involved at a windshield of a car, and then two involved being near a mirror. And it seemed like the communication was coming from either that mirror or through that windshield. And I thought, wait a minute. One day, just like light bulb, come on. Is there anything about, you know,
Okay.
some kind of reflective glass or water reflective? That's what made me started wondering.
Okay. I was part of a healing center about 20 years ago, and I've been researching this since my near-death experience. I've always been interested in these things. So I knew that the Egyptians had places within their facilities that they could go in and not necessarily summon spirit, but have spirit visit them. And it's called a psychomantium. Okay, Raymond Moody has a psychomantium in his place. Um, and I kind of copied a lot of what he was doing and created a psychomantium of my own in a healing center I had up here in northern Indiana, and scared a lot of people. I mean, scares a lot of people, but the benefit of being in a psychomantium outweighs anything you could possibly think of as far as spiritual growth is concerned. I can't remember the lady's name right now, but Raymond Moody had taken her to his psychomantium, and she was able to talk to her ex-husband, or her husband, who had committed suicide. And she told him what had happened. Or no, he told her why he did what he did. So they came to peace and understanding of that right there. She's the one who outed Barack Obama not long ago for being what he is. Okay. And she died on the operating table because of that. But I can't think of her name right now, but you can look it up and see. If
Oh,
I can think of,
that female comedian?
yeah,
Um,
the female comedian.
yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
The name's not coming to mind either.
It's not coming to my mind either, but yeah, she
Joan
went.
Rivers.
Yes, Joan Rivers went with Raymond Moody and Daniel Brinkley to the psychomantium, and she got in contact with her husband, and he told her why things happened
I
like they did.
always wondered that because
Yeah,
when I saw her on the steps walking up to a building on a little news clip, and someone
yep,
asked her, and she turned around and said, "Oh, come on.
yep,
Everyone knows Michelle is
yep,
trans." She's like, "Get over it. Like, who cares?" And then, right after, next news thing on her was she died on an operating table. I'm like, wait a
yep.
minute.
A very simple plastic surgery procedure. She dies. Yeah, no, she didn't die. They killed her because of that.
I always felt that they did.
Yeah,
I always
yep.
did. The
Anyways, yeah,
timing was just too
yeah. But
coincidental.
she went to the psychomantium with Raymond Moody, and that's where I came up with wanting to do the psychomantium after hearing that experience. Like I said, I've been involved in this all my life, and I've always dove as far in as I can to get information and understanding about things other than the physical that we're in right now. You know as well as I do that this is the alternative reality. The reality that is real is the spirit world. This is all just, I don't know what you want to call it, makeup. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
There's a famous actor, and I can't remember his name. His wife came up missing on a boat. It was years ago, like 80s. And I saw it on the news and I was like, he killed her. I just know he killed her. And there was no more said about it. Just it was a nice, I know he killed her. And then years later, it was coming out they was doing an investigation and believed that he killed her. And I don't remember his name. But he was a famous actor. It's just like sometimes those things just come through like you just know.
I think
There's
it
no
was Charles
question.
Bronson.
Huh?
I think it was Charles Bronson.
Was it?
I think so. Yeah. There's been a few of them anyways. But yeah, we are divine beings. We have, you know, all kinds of gifts that we can do and things of that sort. It's just a matter of recognizing it and going with it. And the government, the powers to be, don't want you to know. That's why they put fluoride in your toothpaste and your drinks and in the water and this and that to, to you know, calcify your pineal gland. They don't want you to know your true divinity because we wouldn't be taking the crap that we're taking right now if we truly knew who we were.
Okay.
It's amazing,
Well,
isn't it?
is there anything else that you want to cover we didn't get to?
Yeah, not really, unless you got something else.
Can't think of anything.
Okay.
So beautiful out.
Oh, it's beautiful. It absolutely is.
Well, enjoy your day and enjoy your
I will.
Easter.
I
And
thank you.
I'll
Thank
send
you
this
very
out to
much.
you later today.
Okay. Thank you, Peggy. Have a
Uh-huh.
good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.